is Robert. Oh, good steal. Okay.
Here comes White, took it away from the rookie Hawkins.
Drilled. Deep right center field. Way back.
About the coffin on this one for the Buckeyes. Woo! Gotta get much tighter contest on that type of range.
He certainly did. Little ball throw to hit there.
Good morning, world, and welcome back to yet another fun-filled episode here with us this morning on the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast, as we embark upon on what will be another great conversation this morning. And so, yes, world, we are back like a shark attack, back like we left some, back like we ain't got no clothes on our back, and for the world is a better place when the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast is taking place. And so we thank you for tuning in with us this morning as we conversate about the latest sports topics that have taken place from this past week and will be upcoming this week. It is always the blast to have you all tune in and participate with us every weekend. As a reminder that every week we always like to begin our podcast by reminding our audience that the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast can be found on Facebook via the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast community page, on Instagram, again on IG at the Early Morning Sports Talk POD, again on IG at the Early Morning Sports Talk POD, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify as the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast, as well as our own Facebook pages via Brandon Price, Jamar Goodman, and Jones, aka Pupus Hernandez, as well as our guests for the morning. Now, today we are in-house. Today, however, is April 6th of 2024, and we have seen yet again another wild and fascinating week in the sports world, in which we saw Mr. Bronny James, aka the son of Mr. LeBron James, test the waters and possibly enter his talents into the National Basketball Association by entering the NBA draft and or possibly transfer to another university. And so we'll see what happens with this situation. The NCAA tournament producing viewers on the women's side at all-time records, especially for LSU and Iowa, which took place this past Monday, fellas, and it was a classic game at 12.5 million viewers. Also last night, another classic between Iowa and UConn. A variety of NCAA players from the women's side declaring for the NBA draft, as well as the Final Four beginning tonight for the men, or actually we can say this afternoon, whereas last night we saw South Carolina take care of NC State and Iowa take care of UConn in a very debatable game. And so with that being said, who y'all got for the women's side? And so with that being said, introducing my brother from another mother and one of my partners here on the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast, Mr. Jamar Goodman. Good morning, bro. How are you?
Whew. We got something to unpack about last night's game, man. We got
Indeed we do, bro. Tell me about it. It's crazy, right? And so with that being said, yes, we are also now live on IG. Fantastic. And so, my bro, let's start with that. Let's start with the Final Four last night. NC State got took care of by South Carolina, which everybody expected. And so we can start with the NCAA tournament thoughts, and that would include the men and women now. Yes, world, we are in 2024. It is a world where now we are not just putting women's, we are putting NCAA tournament thoughts, Jamar, which include men and women. Go ahead, bro.
Man, I felt like that call should not. I feel like that call should not have been called.
Yeah,
and that quote unquote moving screen, like that's one of those to where unless it's something like egregious, something just radical, something that's just flamboyant, something that's just like plain like front and center, like you do not make that call. You cannot make that call.
Right.
like I understand that, you know, many plays, not just one play dictates the game, but many plays throughout the game. But you cannot rob UConn of a chance of winning the game. We're not even gonna say they was gonna win the game, but take away their chance of winning the game of a call that has not been called the whole game. Right. Bro, like
Jamar, really quickly, do you think that it was because it was little, innocent, pretty, beautiful Gabby Marshall that ran into the big, stronger, rougher looking Aaliyah? That, you know, she's nowhere near as strong as her, obviously, and the referee see this little, you know, Energizer Bunny running to her, which she's nowhere near as powerful as her, and so the referees easily see that and make the call in the moment because it's unfair for her to get around that big body of that big center of Aaliyah Edwards. Do you think why the referees did that?
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised at all. I mean, looking at it, I mean, she did a good job of, you know, selling it a little bit too, if I'm not mistaken.
That's what I thought of, bro. Like that was a la flop right there. That was a la flop for sure,
bro. And like this has nothing I think that's Victor commenting. It has nothing to do with Caitlin Clark at all. Like as far as like for me, like how I feel about that call, it has nothing to do with her, but it's just more so like just let it play out like it should. The natural game, just let it play out. Like it has nothing to do with Caitlin Clark's greatness or anything like that, or Paige Becker's greatness. It just let the play out. I just want to see the outcome. This is just like it kind of reminds me of like when Kansas City and Philly in that Super Bowl, right? That
controversial at the end, I think it's right.
Yes, that little tug.
Right? Philly,
yeah,
that was baloney.
See, that's how it feels. It feels so deflating. Like this was, I mean, for all intents and purposes, like the first like 39 minutes and whatever seconds was great. Like this was a great game. Yep. Like UConn was doing this thing. Iowa battle back in the beginning of the second half, back and forth. I mean, at one point towards the last 2 minutes, you thought Iowa was gonna like go away with it, but then UConn stifling defense once again, storms back again, just giving them the chance. Like I felt like we were robbed, and of course all of Twitter or X community, they felt the same way. All the, you know, basketball players from LeBron to the Kelsey,
to the early morning sports talk podcast,
to people commenting right now. I mean, I just hate for the game to end like that, and I appreciate Paige's, you know, comments after the game, you know, just being, you know, taking the high road, and it just I just feel for them. I just wish we would have just saw the outcome that we wanted to see, which win or lose, shot made, a shot missed. Like we just needed to see it, and the referees robbed us from that.
I'm telling you, man, absolutely. And good morning, Victor. Yep, Iowa. There's no way, regardless of anything, the world will not let Iowa lose. And as he stated right here, Clark, not to take away from her, but they would not let her. She is too big of a face right now. That's it. And we totally agree. Yes. Could it have been a political thing? It's very interesting, Victor. I just like every fan, man, we just wanted to see the shot happen. Just see what happened. And that would have just added to the NCAA tournament drama. They just would have added to the March Madness of March Madnesses, Jamar. Like, we wanted to see that moment because on the men's side, I don't know if that get called on the men's side. I don't, bro. Like, on the men's side, they let them play. That makes sense.
Yes, they have been.
That's the reason why Chicago State can beat Fred Dickinson, guys. That's the reason why Fred Dickinson can beat Purdue, is because they let these guys play in the tournament, and it's just a wild affair. It's wild. And so it was just so deflating, Jamar, to see that. I'm like, oh, man. And so it was like, but it was a great game. Shout out to UConn. Were you going to say something? I'm seeing you think.
I guess not so much in regards to this. I mean, what's said and done is what's said and done, right? So, I mean, we get Dawn Staley and that powerhouse South Carolina against, I guess, the face of women's college basketball and Caitlin Clark in Iowa. So hopefully the referees don't rob us of that one either, right? So
yeah, and hopefully South Carolina don't blow them out, which they've been doing everybody. Because their defense is you can't play defense, but South Carolina, they're a different level. They're a different animal.
Facts.
Yeah, man. And so it's gonna be really interesting that game. We can talk about that, bro, because shout out to South Carolina. They got long, lengthy defenders. The most dominant big woman in the country outside of Angel Reese, which is Camila Cardoso. You know, she is dominant down there, taking care of business. The Brazilian dominance. You know, I don't know a lot of the girls' names. I just know their faces. I just know Dawn Staley does a fantastic job of having them ready and focused.
Yeah.
We talk about revenge. Let's talk about that really quickly, Jamar, because as we know, South Carolina last year was the only undefeated team. They were undefeated again, to our 3 viewers. They were undefeated last year. They got knocked out in the Final Four, lost by 2 points to Caitlin Clark, who dropped 41 on them in the Final Four. If not, South Carolina and LSU was the national championship that I was looking forward to. I think your pick was South Carolina, LSU for your bracket too last year, Jamar. A number of us had South Carolina, LSU, and Iowa dropping in the Final Four. But it turned out to be LSU and Iowa last year. So with that being said, bro, do you think that South Carolina is super motivated this time going in because of the story, the face, all the glamour she's getting? No glamour really for, you know, South Carolina, which they going to have a lot of great WNBA players on that team. I got revelation of that last night, Jamar. Do you think that they're focused on revenge, man, and take care of business this time?
Absolutely. I mean, I think in the last 3 years, they only lost 3 games. I think
Wow.
she's 108-3 or something like that. It's the last 3 or 4 years. It's something ridiculous like that. That's just sheer dominance. And you know, like you mentioned, like all the spotlight is on Caitlin Clark, and like I'm seeing commercials about Caitlin Clark last night watching the game. And it's like when you are like dominant for so long, in that sense, I feel like the appreciation level or the notoriety isn't there in the spotlight like it's supposed to. Like, oh, you know, that's just them being them. You know, they're always dominant. Let's like, oh, this is something new. This is something fresh. Let's focus on Caitlin Clark instead of the fact that Dawn Staley has built a very dominant program. This is the likes of, it feels like the UConn program when I was growing up, how dominant that was for an extended period of time. Like I feel like UConn at that point had a whole like decade on a chokehold,
Right.
And it feels like South Carolina is trending in that direction, the way that they're putting their program together. So yeah, I feel like that the lack of attention plus the revenge factor, I think they have all the motivation in the world to go out there and potentially stump Iowa. I mean, we saw last night in that UConn game that I forgot her name, but she was that was the one that was, you know, limping around, but she was guarding Caitlin Clark.
Oh yeah, number 10.
Yes,
I start with a B, but
Bueller. And like her, and I guess when Paige was switching out, they was making life very difficult for Caitlin. So I'm pretty sure I'm gonna probably expect something very similar to where somebody's gonna be guarding her the whole time, 94 feet. It's gonna be like she gonna wake up that morning and they're gonna be guarding her out the bed, brushing her teeth, guarding her. It's gonna be like that. They're not gonna let up on her. They can't. So So yeah, they definitely gonna come with a revenge factor. They gonna come highly motivated. I mean, yeah. I mean, you going against.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this too, Jamar. Iowa, they lost to LSU in the national championship. They back. How motivated are they, bro, to actually get the national championship now?
Oh, I'm sure they just as motivated. I mean, look at it. Like, if you go all the way there and you lose, do you know how like devastating that got to be? And the fact that you back again, and knowing probably for Caitlin Clark, the only thing that's missing is that ring. You know, that infamous, ring that we were talking about last year when she kept flashing it.
Mhm.
And so, yeah. I mean, that's the only thing that's really left to do. I mean, you got all the accolades at this point. I mean, you got to get the ring. Because, I mean, outside of this year, I mean, we don't expect Iowa back no more.
Right.
Do we?
No. No disrespect to Hannah Stokey. I love her. Little military girl. She, every time Caitlin Clark get the ball, she be running. You be seeing her, Jamar, the light-skinned center for Iowa. She be running up the court every time she get the ball, trying to get a layup. I love it. And so I love Hannah Stokey. I love because I know Iowa, been watching, we on the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast really support women's sports. Love Martin, love Alfonso, love Gabby, which is the point guard who got the privilege yesterday because of that screen. Great coach at Iowa, but no, I do not expect them to be back. They'll be a tough team, Jamar, but they won't be like a pick, yeah, I'm thinking as what's her name stated, Kim Mulkey stated Monday, bro, after they lost, she stated to Caitlin Clark, I'm glad you won't be back next year. And so with that, we kind of expect the LSUs, the South Carolinas again, those programs to kind of be up there next year again. And so, yeah, man, that is very, very interesting. I do want to try to stay with Caitlin. She was a little bogus for throwing the ball off Paige Bucker's back at the end to drop the.
It was smart though.
It was a smart basketball play, the right thing to do. I just found it to be very interesting. And so yeah, that was very interesting. And so with that, bro, let us now get to the men. We basically saw what happened, man, this past weekend. Your Boilermakers, bro. Our Boilermakers, they are in the Final Four. They are in the Final Four. And it's like a breath of fresh air, finally, man. And so Matt Painter, he has a chance today, Jamar, to get to the national championship, man. He's playing NC State. I tell you what, bro, I am looking forward to this big boy, big sloppy Zebo Jr. matchup versus Zach Edey. Evans Jr. of NC State. What a Cinderella this is, Jamar. 5 wins to win the ACC tournament. Nobody expected them to even get out the first round, let alone now 4 wins into the NCAA tournament. Only 2 more to go. And so this NC State team has surprised, shocked. March Madness at its best, bro. March Madness at its best. Not only that, we had 2 programs. Unfortunately, NC State and UConn lost on the women's side, but NC State and UConn for the men's side are here as well. We had 2 programs that were literally in the Final Four. And so with that, Jamar, let's talk about the men's side, bro. Just any thoughts from the men's side? You want to talk about Purdue? You want to talk about the Cinderella story? The dominance of UConn, man. Here we are, 23-23, U of I. Thinking we, going to go toe-to-toe to them, and they went on a 30-0 damn run. Jamar, just give me your thoughts, bro.
Man. My heart, Brandon. My heart. They came through.
They
came through.
They came through. And Zach Edey came through. What a dominant outing.
Man, that
dominant, boy. Taking care of business down there.
The growth of Zach Edey throughout the years. My gosh.
Right.
My gosh. Back-to-back AP Player of the Year.
Yep.
40-point dominance.
Mm-hmm.
Because I kid you not, because one of the things in that particular matchup that did concern me about Purdue is I know they control the tempo, they control the pace. They have a very, very efficient half-court offense. They are great at offensive rebounding. They don't really turn over the ball like that. But at the point to where if they was to get down double digits, do they have enough to battle back? And then in that game, they were down double digits.
Yep.
And I was sitting here like, man, here we go again. And I was literally like just having flashbacks to like they just can't get it done. And then
Right.
that was just one of those to where that was willpower. That was sheer willpower. That was just
Because that kid, as I told y'all, Jamar, last week, I said, what is his name? Cadence?
Dalton Connect.
Dalton Connect. Start with a K. That kid, I said he's one of the top players in the country. And, he put the world on notice, bro.
He was on fire.
He put the world on notice.
Yeah,
Broken
37.
ball. He gonna be looking like another Steph Curry, another Bogdanovic, another sharpshooter for sure, man. It's going to be another Duncan Robinson, like another Tyler Hero. He gonna be another one of them. That boy can light it up.
He definitely can, and he came to play. That team, like Tennessee, they show why they were a really good team all year.
Yep.
But for Edey and those boys to do what they needed to do to get it done, that was one of those. They rose to the moment. They got it done. And now Purdue has a chance to do only what one other team has done in the history of college basketball, as in Virginia, when they lost as a 1 seed to a 16. That was the first time we ever seen that.
Right.
Came back the next year.
Won a national championship.
Yes, they have a chance.
Yep. Yep.
And going
Thanks
against
to us losing to them in the Elite Eight, in which Jamar, Carson Edwards, and that team was supposed to beat them. It was the damn African kid Diaco who hit the shot to go into one of the wildest shots in the NCAA tournament history. But just wanted to point that out. If not, we probably would have been national champions. Who knows?
It's okay. It's okay. We're here now.
Right.
We're here now.
That's past. Let's focus on right. Let's focus on.
Okay. But yeah, NC State, like that's been exciting to watch. Zebo Jr. and Burns Jr. I mean, he's been doing his thing. But Brandon, I'll tell you this. There is no way that Edey should lose this matchup against Burns. There is no way.
Right.
I understand. Like, Burns around the people his size, like his skill set, like it is fabulous to watch. But Mr. Player of the Year, 2-time back-to-back Player of the Year, Mr. 40-point performance that sealed our fate to the Final Four to go to Phoenix now, where our boy Jeremy's going to be there. He had tickets to go to the Final Four and hoping that Purdue was going to make it there. Now look at that match made in heaven right there for him.
Yeah,
but there's no way,
right? It's in Indianapolis, right?
No, it's in Phoenix.
Okay, that's right. It's in Phoenix. It's in Phoenix. Because I'm so used to Indianapolis hosting everything.
I mean, they got a perfect venue for it, but I'll never say that again. So, okay. But yeah, they better not lose to NC State. I kid you not. They better not lose. I have more. I'll tell you this, and this is going to be a perfect segue to the next matchup. I have more faith in Purdue beating NC State than I do UConn beating Alabama.
Why? What? Wow, now that's a crazy take right there.
And now,
because UConn is looking like they've been the best team, but you can argue Purdue too, Jamar. Now that I calm down, I can see your point a little bit.
Yep. Now let's make our way over to this matchup here. Now UConn. In fact, let's take it back to last week. If the game was sealed in the first half, I felt very confident about Illinois. Like they had, like, dude, that 30-0 run. Do you know how like demoralizing that is? Do you know how, like, bro, like, loss of words. That's just sheer like, we are UConn. This is what we do. You have no chance. That's what it felt like. Now, to this matchup here, I haven't really paid too much attention to Alabama, but one thing I do know about Alabama, they can light it up. And
shoot. And they got low-key a nice big man. I don't know the name of the kid, the Caucasian boy, number 42, but he gets the ball. He gets it in the basket. He can shoot. He can do a variety of different things. And so I like his game. And so he's going to be interesting versus UConn. can the bigs for UConn, which UConn has some excellent bigs,
They do.
can they contain him or can he contain the bigs? That's the question. I think that game's decided down low too, Jamar.
I mean, I give you that, but I would say my primary focus is if Alabama can light it up behind the arc, like if they can stay consistent behind the arc the entire game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's probably your best chance of beating UConn. Like, we understand UConn is dominant on both ends of the court. They just a dominant team this year. But as you know, in order to beat another team, you have to outscore the other team. So
you got to do it in college basketball by the three. You got to. Purdue's here because the other guys can shoot the threes.
Yeah.
Zach dominated down low, but the other guys hit enough threes. That's all Purdue needed for the last 5, 6, 7, 8 damn years because we done had great big men. We big man you now. All we got to do is hit our threes.
Exactly. And so I'm not like I still have full confidence that UConn winning this game, but like I said, I have more faith in Purdue beating NC State based on matchups than UConn winning this game. But like I said, I expect UConn to win. But I'm just saying that one chance to where this team can be hot. I mean, they average over 80-some points a game as in Alabama. So, I mean, that's a lot of points in college. That is a lot of points.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
I mean, that's talented, like Illinois, you know. And so it's interesting because I felt the same way, Jamar, about good morning, Victor. So, yeah. I felt the same way, Jamar, about Illinois last week versus UConn. Illinois, as you know, Jamar, and I got to play devil's advocate because I'm your brother, Purdue brothers. Illinois had one of the best offenses in the country, too. They were averaging 90-some points going into that game. 80-some points during the regular season, one of the highest scoring teams. And UConn put the clamps on them. They put the clamps on Shannon Jr., they put the clamps on what's the kid, Damasu, you know, the white boy that like to back you down for U of I.
That guy, yeah.
Yeah. You know, they put the clamps on the big man because last week I said low key, Illinois got, you know, some nice big men. Man, they were non-existent, man. Non-existent. And I believe it was because of the bigs of UConn. And so I just want to point out that Alabama can light it up from three. But my question is has Alabama played at UConn yet? And so it's going to be interesting. I think, bro, I actually believe that UConn has a better chance of beating Bama. But I tell y'all what, I am hoping, and this with Jamar put me in the mindset of great national championships. Remember that U of I North Carolina final, which went down to one of the greatest title games ever. Remember that Kansas, it was a few years back, North Carolina versus Butler, last minute shots, you know, and I just want to mention Butler because Butler, right, is Indianapolis, Indiana, etc. Like, I just want to mention like great national championships. Yep. If we get a UConn and Purdue, y'all get y'all popcorn ready, baby. There's going to be an Iowa LSU. This going to be a showdown. It's going to be a showdown. Now, I don't want to count out NC State here. I do not want to count out Alabama, okay? Yeah, Duke and Butler. That was a great one, man. Remember that one, Victor? Gordon Hayward. He cocked back, Jamar, remember? Threw the ball off the backboard. It almost went in. That would have been the championship games ever. I'm like, little Butler. I'm like, Indian. I'm like, where the hell is Butler? Like, where is Butler? Like, because we was at Purdue, Jamar. And it was like, oh, yeah, it's right up the street in Indianapolis. I'm like, what? Like, I never heard no damn Butler University. But, like, do they got a football program? No, they don't. Like, okay. So, like, I mean, yeah, man. This UConn, Purdue, I think, man, I'm hoping for that. I don't know if you hoping for it, but
I want it too. I want to see Cleveland versus Edey. That's what I want to see. The two bigs go at it.
Yeah, what a matchup that's gonna be. Yeah, man. So, man, and so with that, I think we got our picks, Jamar. Who do you got? Who do you got for this men's Final Four pick? Who you got?
I mean, I got UConn versus Purdue at
Okay.
this point.
Okay.
Man. So my left and right mind says UConn gonna win this thing.
Mm-hmm.
But a piece of my heart, where my heart's at. You know where
Right.
my heart's at. Like this is our third Final Four in their history. Their third Final Four, 69, 80, and now 2024.
Right.
Went to the title game once, never won a title. So, I mean, I'm picking UConn, but you know who I'm rooting for. I'm really rooting for.
Right.
You
Exactly.
already know.
So, yeah. And so with that, Jamar is believing that on Monday UConn will come out, and I'm agreeing with Jamar. I think unfortunately my Boilermakers come up short, but if it were to be the case that they will win the national championship, we will be ecstatic.
You couldn't tell me nothing. You couldn't tell me nothing.
And so, Victor, you stated it ain't happening, Captain. What you mean, bro? Like, are you saying that
Said
you
Purdue
saying
ain't winning.
Purdue ain't winning today? You think NC State gonna upset them? That would be a crash.
So he's rooting. He's actually rooting for Purdue because NC State knocked out his Duke team because he's a Duke fan.
Okay. And Victor, who you got, by the way, bro? Like, who you got for the national championship? Who you got for winning it all on Monday? Who you got? And so, man, okay, I want them to win against NC State or against North Carolina State, but UConn. Okay. Yeah. So UConn coming out with the weekend. Man,
Vic, I tell you, if Purdue somehow falls his way and hoisting up the trophy on Monday, you ain't gonna hit it. You ain't gonna hit the end of it. You're not. I've been tormented by watching Duke win a national championship after national championship in the course of my life. You gonna catch this. You gonna catch this one if Purdue gets it done. I know it's an if. It might be a slightly big if, but I'm just saying.
Right.
I got a shirt for you.
Yeah, man, that was a really good game between Duke and NC State at first, and then NC State just put the clamps on in that second half, Jamar. I'm like, wow, this was a close game at the beginning of the second half.
It was.
I'm like, man, NC State must really be good because they really put the clamps on Duke. They clearly look like the better team. They look like the higher seed. They look like the program that's been winning for years.
Yeah, they look confident. The level of confidence in that squad, they look like they've been there before.
Right.
That's it's impressive to watch.
It is, man. And that's one of the things about the tournament we always stated, Jamar. One thing that NC State, they got veterans on that team. Guys have been around for a while, 4, 5, 6 years. And so it's just crazy how this all happens, man. Every tournament is just amazing. And so with that, bro, let us now progress to the women's pick, bro. And so with that being said, who you got?
South Carolina.
Man.
Sheer dominance.
It's like Purdue and UConn. This was hard too, man. This was hard. If it would be Purdue and UConn, if it were Iowa and South Carolina, will be very hard for me. Okay, Jamar, tell me why you got South Carolina.
They're a better overall team that's looking to get back at them for knocking them out last year. It's right. Too much. It's too much like intangibles, and they haven't lost a game. They're dominant.
Right. Yeah. The question will be this, Jamar. Will South Carolina's stifling defense and their energy level and their grit outgrit a very gritty Caitlin Clark? Because the thing about Caitlin is she stated last night in the interview when, you're watching the, women talk that be on ESPN all the time, the women,
right?
The coach, they all talking and they said about Caitlin Clark that she actually gets more energy, bro, on offense than defense, which shows she works pretty hard on defense. Iowa's a very good defensive team too, y'all, if y'all didn't know. They're a very good defensive team. And so I know South Carolina's defense is bad. We all know that. Our 3 viewers, we all know that. But the thing about Killen is when she get that open court, bro, she looking to let it go like Steph. She looking to let it go like a Steve Nash back in the day. When she get that open lane and the defense ain't get set yet, that's the key here for me, bro, is can South Carolina get that defense set? Because if they can, and they can play that slow game, bro, that favors South Carolina, bro. But if it's a shootout, a track meet, I think that favors Iowa. And so it makes it difficult for me. The bigs probably can't match up with Cardoso. But will Cardoso get in foul trouble? If she does, I ain't gonna front. They got a nice backup center. Very good. That's gonna be a WNBA prospect too very soon.
Watkins, who had the 20 boards.
Yep. She the power forward though, but I'm talking about the center. Watkins got 20 boards. She a power forward. She a small forward, really. That's how good they are. Like really. And so, but this is Caitlin Clark is just as good. And so that's why I say this is a very hard pick. And so I'm gonna go with South Carolina, bro. I think they possibly could weigh them down, but that's gonna be a game. I'm gonna leave it at that. You know how, Jamar, we always state on Saturdays when we talk, like, man, you know, this gonna be a game. That's gonna be one of them. We're gonna be watching, and it's gonna be like, you know, this coming down to the last few minutes. And so, yeah. Because Iowa can shoot, they can score fast. South Carolina, man. If South Carolina hit their shots, bro, that's the question. If South Carolina hitting them threes like the women stated last night, bro, the women on the podium, they stated when South Carolina hit their shots, can't nobody even touch them. They can't come near them. And so the question really is South Carolina going to beat themselves in this game, bro? That as crazy as Iowa, as good as Iowa is, the real question is, will South Carolina beat themselves? Which is possible in college.
So that's the real matchup: South Carolina versus South Carolina.
Pretty much.
That tells you everything you need to know.
And so hopefully they come in focused, man, and they don't get them sweaty palms. They don't think about last year. They don't think about the pressure of going undefeated, all that good stuff. You know, but you know, Iowa trying to get that natty too, Victor. Iowa, they lost in the national championship last year. They won that national championship. That's the only thing missing from her resume, like Jamar stated, that ring. And so, very intriguing, man. Sports, I tell you, it's amazing. And so, with that, bro, let's talk about something else that is making headlines out here. Bronny James, bro, declaring for the NBA draft. And so, I am curious, bro, do you like this? And why do you think Bronny is so confident in declaring for the NBA draft? What makes this kid so confident?
Who's his daddy?
LeBron James, second greatest NBA player of all time.
So this here is like, so two things stick out to me on this. One, like, I feel like so to my understanding, the coach is no longer there at USC.
Yeah, he went to SMU. He got a job there.
So that probably opened up Pandora's box in a sense to this, because he's also, you know, entering the transfer portal, pretty much keeping eligibility alive while declaring himself for the draft. So I guess at this point, he's just trying to see how the water is out there as well. But also for a player that averages like 5.3 points a game or something like that.
4.8.
And
basically 4-3-3, bro. 4-3-3. 4 rebounds, 4 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists.
All right. So he's on the triple singles like I think what Barkley was talking about Draymond Green at one point. But it's to me to where he's trying to see how strong that power is that influence that his dad has for him to be drafted.
To literally get an NBA GM and say, "Yo, pick up my son."
Yes, because the allure is if you draft Bronny, LeBron's coming right with you. That's the
right. That's that. Thank you for really just reminding me of that, bro. That is so powerful. Let's soak on that to our 2 viewers this morning. Literally, you a GM and LeBron sitting next to you, and LeBron James comes say to you, "Yo, draft my son." But when you draft your son, I'm coming with him. If you the Toronto Raptors, I'm like, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. You know, I'm just saying. Good morning, LB. Good morning, bro. I'm just saying, like, you know, you the GM, and LeBron comes sit next to you and say, "Yo, you draft my son who averaging 5 points per game, 3 and 3. I'm coming with you. I'm coming with him on your squad. We gonna do this thing next year. You finna go from worst to at least a damn possible contender depending on the pieces you pick up."
Oh, it's wild. And just like this comment says, man has no business in the NBA based on what I've seen. And look, like, do I feel like Bronny could be like, without the influence of LeBron James, could he like eventually make the NBA or be one of those that's deserved to be drafted? Sure, with the right development. I mean, he can play.
Yep.
The man can play.
Player like an Anthony Beverly type, like a, you know, defensive prowess, hit a few shots. As we know, there's a job in that, Jamar, right? There's a job in that. A guy that can hit some threes, come down, play some defense. Nicholas Batum is trash from France. But what does Nicholas Batum do? You know, he plays some defense. He might hit a few jump shots, and he might stick one of the.
He was a 3-and-D guy, bro.
That's it. That's a market, though.
That is a very lucrative position to be in the NBA in the last like 10 to 15 years. A 3-and-D guy. You can make a living off being a 3-and-D guy.
For real, dog. Good morning, Anthony.
But yeah, it's so baffling to me, man. Like, because it's just his name to be thrown in the hat is solely because of who his dad is and the influence and the impact that could probably have in this potential draft, to where somebody in the second round would be like, you know what? Why not take a chance on him? Let's see what we can do.
He shook up the whole draft, literally.
What if the New York Knicks took him in the second round? Voila. Like, I'm pretty sure LeBron would entertain doing that at that point, right? I mean, and the crazy thing is, like, if anybody ever decides to take him, knowing that more times than not, LeBron probably would try to find his way to that particular team. You probably only get LeBron for maybe 1 year, maybe 2 tops before he's pretty much done. Because he told you the other day he don't have much time left. He told you that out of his mouth. So it's like, you mentioned Toronto. Like, if Toronto took a chance on him and he went to Toronto and you got him for 1 year, and then you back to Toronto, what you are right now, with Bronny, who you may or may not even give really a chance to develop. Like, it's like, is it really worth it at that point? It's like it's so many things to
maybe
this. So many layers.
A bad example in this case, Shamar. Maybe it's a team that's already developed, right? Because therefore, Toronto, if I'm the GM, you're right. I asked that question after LeBron's left. I'm gonna be back being Toronto. But what if I'm OKC?
But it's like,
who got the capital, bro? Who got the hole you dig?
But
who
it's
literally
like
got the hole you dig to pull everything out the hat to get whoever they want at this point. At least from drafts, and they got a lot of picks. They got a lot of conversation.
They have the most capital out there based on what they've been doing. And it's like, so my other question is drafting Bronny by Oklahoma City Thunder enough to make LeBron want to go spend 1 year in the middle of nowhere?
Right.
that's the other thing. Like, would LeBron, GM, force a trade to trade Bronny to wherever he's going? Would that happen?
Right.
So
Anthony, I mean, Victor, are you stating that Bronny go to the Chinese league with Marvin?
bruh. As long as Bronny doesn't start eating Vaseline, we cool. We cool. We don't need him eating Vaseline.
But yeah, man, like just, you know, Jordan had to pull up to have his kids play at U of I. I'm pretty sure he told those boys there's no way they're going to survive in the NBA. This kid is definitely using his name. Yeah, definitely. But guys, I want to play devil's advocate here really quickly, Jamar. Could it be that he's just testing the waters, which means that he wants to see what his development is, work out with those NBA scouts, learn there, get advice. You see what I'm saying, bro? And so when he go back next year, which I'm believing that he's not going to actually want to go to the NBA this year, I'm believing that he's going to transfer. Possibly you're hearing rumors of North Carolina. You're hearing rumors, right, Jamar, of Ohio State, obviously.
Ohio State, yeah. And
so he's testing the waters to learn from these NBA scouts, learn what they're looking for, grow. He hadn't even had his, health back. Keep in mind, y'all, he had cardiac arrest last year. So Bronny was getting his wind back, as we say, for those that, we say that in Chicago, get your wind back, get your breath back. And so, like, he was just getting his wind back this year, Jamar. So next year, you know what I'm saying? I think it'll be definitely better for him for next year, but he's probably just testing the waters to get advice, to learn, to grow, develop, and then from there, definitely into the NBA draft next year. But planning to definitely transfer to a better program where he could be showcased more.
So, in totality, I agree with you, as in he shouldn't enter this year, play next year, and then come out type deal if everything goes as planned, as projected of his development. But for him, does he really need to like enter the draft to get the development he needs when his dad is who his dad is? Does he really need to do all that when he could just hey, Pops, hey, just teach me?
Probably because LeBron's one of the GOATs. He's on the Mount Rushmore. He's number 2. But there might be some things he don't know, bro. And there might be some information that the scouts might have that LeBron, you never know how that stuff works in them circles. And so LeBron definitely got plugged with the world. But at the same time, there might be some information that he probably can learn and develop from with some of those guys who's doing that every day as scouts. And so that's what I'm thinking. He's testing the waters to see where he could land after he do those workouts. And they will say to him, bro, hey, we think you have to come in as an undrafted free agent, pretty much. Likely nobody's going to draft you. You see what I'm saying? And from there, he'll be like, all right, yeah, I'll enter the transfer portal, go to Ohio State or whatever. Yeah. That's what I'm thinking. Anthony stated he'll teach him how to be the best flopper in the league. And so, hey, man, it works, man. Let me get you the ball back. Man, I feel like if the league had 4 rounds, he still wouldn't make it.
Dang. I didn't see much of anything. I've seen way better players not get drafted. Yikes.
Yeah, man. This is all of the above, this answer. There's no right or wrong here on these responses, man, because it's the name, it's testing the waters, it's all that. He's doing all that, man. And what better name to use than LeBron James, Bronny James? Definitely get your plan. And so, and that case, Marcus Jordan, somebody mentioned that yesterday. Marcus Jordan should have ended the draft after U of I. And I'm like, it's true. Both of the Jordan brothers should have entered the draft. They were stating, maybe they would have had a chance back. Right. But they wouldn't have, not in that day and age, they wouldn't have had a chance.
I mean, maybe, but at least Marcus found his Pippen now, so he's cool.
No, they broke up, bro.
And that's like quote unquote second time breaking up. They're gonna get back together again.
Because after the breakup, I get a little updates on my phone now. you know, and I'm sorry for this ADHD non-sports moment, but I gotta go here, Jamar. Like, you know, literally getting updates on my phone. Larsa Pippen, Newsbreak is my phone. Larsa Pippen flunts curves 49, which is her age, and new bikini on yacht. Like I give a damn. Like I want to see her. Like, you know what I'm saying, bro? Like I want to see Larsa Pippen, old 50-year-old, surgery. Don't even get me started. Flooding her curves on a yacht after recent breakup with Marcus Jordan. Like, so?
Oh man, it seemed like your phone made that very important for you to know.
I know, right? Like, you got to talk to your phones these days. You got to tell your phones, hey, stop telling me about Larsa Pippen. I don't care about Larsa Pippen flooding her 49-year-old curves on a yacht after recent breakup with Marcus Jordan. Like, please, I'm talking to my phone right here. Please stop it. And I'm after we get off the early morning sports talk podcast, I got to deal with my phone because I got to tell my phone, hey, stop telling me about Larsa Pippen, 49-year-old, but flooding her curves on yacht and forgot the.
I guess the phone was just checking to see if you had any interest. Yeah, if
right.
you interested in Larsa, she's available.
Right? As long as you click Google and Facebook, yeah, we got one.
Just seeing if Mr. Price is interested in Miss Pippen. That's all. That's it.
Exactly. And all I do is swipe. Yeah, we'll see though. They might try me again, right? You know, it's like you be on the street, right, Jamar, like downtown somewhere, and somebody come ask you for change. And like you go to work every day and a person asks you for change one day, and then you come back a few days later on Friday and they come at you for change again. That's what my phone gonna try to do with me. Watch.
It's persistent, man. They just trying to get you to introduce yourself to Larsa. That's it.
Exactly. Just a smooth operator, right? Like smooth as hell, like crazy, man. Technology these days. Yeah. On the other hand, Anthony stated it is like Kelce and Swift. Yeah. They took a break too, right? Travis said, bro, after the Super Bowl, he needs to take a break. Like, but I think that's just more so the spotlight. But yeah, that was a thing for sure, man. Absolutely a thing for sure. So it's interesting to see how Kelce and Swift is doing. I think they're doing well though. They overseas, I heard, Jamar, and according to my phone, you know, my phone just be giving me all type of stupid updates. And, you know, lets me know that Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift on a vacation. Like, I give a damn, but, you know, it lets me know, like, hey, you know, they're on vacation and they're taking a break from the media. Like, okay.
I guess your phone likes pop culture.
Exactly. It's crazy, man. Just include me in everything. And so, speaking of pop culture, let's look at these poll results, bro. We, last week, on the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast, had a very interesting debate. And for our viewers, we would love for you guys to go literally to this poll and help us sort this out. Okay? We will begin to do this every week, all right? We'll include it with Ian's Basement to where we will have a question out there and you guys will vote on the poll. And from there, we will discuss what the poll was. And so we had a very passionate debate about what is the ceiling of an NBA team currently with LeBron James and Steph Curry on it. And then we also debated what is the ceiling of LeBron and Steph if they were on the current Lakers team. And so I stated that I believe with both of these guys that they could make an NBA Finals, NBA championship run. Ian and Jamar firmly stated a deep playoff run, second round possible exit, at best conference finals, at best. And so with that, one of our viewers just dropped off, sadly. I wish they could have stayed. But with that, if you guys could go out there and take a look at that question in the page and let us know, hey, you know, what is that ceiling? That would be great. Because thus far we just have a deep playoff run. And so right now I'm looking bad because right now Jamar is winning. And so we gotta make a decision on that. But yeah, Jamar, you are sticking with that. You believe that with Steph, with LeBron in today's NBA, it's just too much talent.
Absolutely, way too much youth.
Right.
Yeah, youth. The father time, like all that stuff plays in the factor. It's not the same. This was like Ian stated, even 5 years ago, it might be a different story, but now, when you got dogs like Anthony Edwards out here, and you got a guy that can't even jump over. They can't even jump over a curb out here winning league MVPs left and right. Like, good luck.
Right. Absolutely. We're in an age now, man, to where the 8 seeds are legitimately dangerous in both conferences, literally. We are in that age now to where seeds, like, the talent is so good, Jamar. Like, Miami, here they go again, bro, beating everybody right when it started to matter. And so we are definitely in that age where it's a lot of talent. Everybody got access to weights. These are not, no disrespect to the talent of Jordan's era. They could hoop too, right, Jamar? It was just a more physical era. But now, man, it ain't nothing to hit a three. It ain't nothing to pull up from the parking lot, legitly. It ain't nothing to pull up from Arlington Heights. Like, it ain't nothing. Like, that's the thing now. And so, with that, yeah. We also got an early playoff exit and then an NBA Finals. And so we'll see how that turns out. By the way, as stated again, next week we will put out the poll in advance. And we'll put that thing out there probably Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, one of those. And we'll discuss it on Saturday morning, that poll. And that way we keep everybody engaged on Ian's basement and what's happening and the big burning questions. And so, man, bro, that was a dope ASS hour. But, bro, anything else, bro? Because go ahead.
I don't know, man. Like, it's a bittersweet time because college basketball comes to an end here in the next couple of days, and it's that madness is just about over. But at least I feel like we're gonna see. I would project 2 high quality national championship games. I would imagine if everything goes as planned. Right.
Right. Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. That's. I'm with you. Like, if everything goes as planned, Purdue and UConn take care of their business today. Get ready for a great final tomorrow between Iowa and South Carolina, and obviously if it'd be Purdue and UConn on Monday night. And so that is that, man. Again, y'all, we appreciate Victor, Frank, Anthony, Offbeat, Lisa, for all those that viewed, liked, Kevin, etc. For rocking with us. We truly appreciate it, man. Great conversation, man. Great time. Great hour. And so, Jamar, my bro, with that being said, on behalf of the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast, we would like to say thank you to you all for tuning in with us this morning. Continue to chop it up with us and support our podcast on various platforms. And if you are and would love to talk sports with us on the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast, we are here and would love to do so with you. Your love and support is truly appreciated. And we hope you all have a blessed and safe weekend. Peace.